Kravitz. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good afternoon and welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast, episode 373 of Picks and Ponies. We are live on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Host Howard Kravitz, along with my new good friend and co-host of a new show called Pacific Horse Players, Rian Anderson. We are here to talk about a monster sequence at Parx Racing, two Grade 1s, the Cotillion and the Pennsylvania Derby, and Gulfstream Park has three fantastic stake races. Also, 5 stake races to cover here live. Rian Anderson, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Beautiful day out on the West Coast out here down in San Diego, just taking it all in. We got college football on one TV. I got ponies on the other TV. I got ponies on the computer. We're live streaming now. It's a great day to have a great day.
Oh man, it's all good. I've got pick 4s going, pick 5s going. I got TV screens all over the place. I feel like I'm in a sports book, Ryan. It's an exciting day. We have a lot to talk about. And again, we're going to be covering Parx. We originally were going to cover actually race 12 and 13, Ryan, at Parx. But as I'm sort of looking at it, live show here, we got to make adjustments, right? Parx race 11 is actually going off in 2 minutes. So we're actually going to talk about race 11 a little bit. I'm not sure how prepared you are, Ryan, but that's okay.
I'm ready.
All right. I told Ryan we only do 12 and 13, but we will talk about race 11. I believe that's the Gallant Bob. So we'll go ahead and talk about that in 2 minutes. Actually, let me go ahead and bring on the screen right now the field for the Gallant Bob. Is a $400,000 race. It's 6 furlongs. It's only for 3-year-olds. Here's the, sorry, I got to present. It helps if I present. You know how this works. Here we go. Coming up in just a second here. Here's the field right now. We got Ben Tornado, who I know you want. 1-2 is completely crazy to me. Bucciarino 7-2. You see the field. Who'd you like in this race, Ryan?
You know, I think I mentioned to you before we went live here. I just singled Ben Tornado. I opened the feed as they were going into the gate pretty much for this pick 5, and I love Ben Tornado. I loved him at Charlestown, even though he finished a good second behind Valentine Candy, who I believe just ran at Churchill either this race or next. But yeah, I went with Ben Tornado. Irad's had a good day, as Irad always does on these big days. So I singled Ben Tornado, but looking a little deeper, I mean, he's obviously the horse to beat. Bucciarino definitely deserves a look. And then Sunny Breeze, I also thought was a little bit interesting. Just maybe has a little bit of tactical speed in there. So obviously a lot of pace signed on here. So we'll kind of see. Some big favorites have already gone down at Parx today. So
they have. You know, we've seen a lot of big favorites go down. Not next, though. Next ran monsters as usual. 3-5 on Ben Tornado. I think this price is completely ridiculous. I think the 3 has a big shot here. My sort of sneaky play, if I were to play someone underneath or maybe to upset, is the number 5, Maximus Meridius. Maximus Meridius, who's currently 7-1, gets Rosario. Blinker is off. Didn't get the best of trips last time. Didn't break great, and then rushed up on the inside against Bucciarino, Ryan, in the local prep for this. Lost by 6, but I think it's very possible the 1 and 3 could hook up. And even if they don't, the 7 one-sharp cookie for Safi in theory is going to go. So there could be a lot of speed here. And Maximus Meridius might just get the right trip at 7-1. That'd be my sneaky play in this race. Let's talk about the favorite real quick, Ben Tornado. How much is this? Is IRAD money, and how should this horse really be 4-5 now as he's drifting up a little bit, or is everyone just paying the IRAD tax, so to speak, Ryan?
I would say about half IRAD tax, but then looking on pure numbers, the last race has the buyer figure that kind of stands out amongst these. I do like your kind of sneaky pick of Maximus Meridius. My kind of sneaky underneath is Practically Dark, just because of that jockey, Flavian Pratt. You can never discount him at any sort of number. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of this is the IRAD tax, you got to imagine. And then coming from Saudi, ran third to Forever Young and Bookham Dano, two also very talented horses. This horse is pretty highly regarded. You do have to take a look that the 99 buyer came with Lasix, his only time with Lasix. So he's off Lasix again here. But even those back figures, they still stack up pretty well. But yeah, I mean, inside post isn't the easiest. We've mentioned that we've seen some short price favorites go down already today. So, you know, who knows? We got to run the race. We got to see if IRAD can work out a trip. But I do trust the jockey on board more than most.
Well, just to set this up, Ron, we can't show video due to, you know, contract obligations and whatnot, but we are going to play audio. So if you're watching at home, thanks for joining us, the HHH Racing podcast. The audio might be a little bit behind the video. Actually, as I'm looking right now, yeah, the audio is probably a few seconds behind the video. I guess it depends on what you're watching, but we will play the audios. They're loading the gate for the Gallant Bob Stakes. I'm going to go ahead and put the audio on again. It's going to be slightly behind. Good luck to everyone in the Gallant Bob. Feel free to cheer your horses home for sure in the Gallant Bob.
Sunny Breeze is next. Followed by Maximus Meridius.
Again, they're almost all in the gate. Yep, they're almost all in the gate.
Practically Dark. Next one in.
You can hear that, Ryan, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, wow. Bucarino did not break, Ryan.
Oof. All right.
Oh, boy. The four is going, though.
Sharp Cookie is next. And now we're just waiting
I'll
on
tell you what, I'm not going to show it. The sound's going to be behind the video, so I'll just let the sound play. I don't want to say anything as it's going on. It's about 5 seconds
now
behind.
all in.
Actually, it's a lot more than that behind. All right, I'll tell you what. Yeah, it's a lot more behind. Right now, Bucarino's in a three-way speed duel. Or sorry, Ben Tornado's in a three-way speed duel. Bucarino's in behind. Maximus Meridius is actually in last, but might have some horse. It's the 4. It's 1, 4, and I believe 8. Battling.
Like, 1, 4, 8.
Ben Tornado's in trouble. A lot of trouble.
Certainly looks that way.
Well, now he's coming back. I'll tell you what, this is really interesting. The 3 and the 5 are sitting great tips so they can find room. 1 and 4 are battling up front. Here comes Bucarino, and Maximus Meridius is also coming. It's 1 and 4. Here comes Bucarino. I don't think he's going to get there. 1 and 4. Ben Tornado holds on. Sorry about the audio, folks. It was actually much further behind than I had originally thought. Things are a little bit messed up today with, I don't know if we're going to play the sound or not. We'll see. I'll tell you what, that was a very, very game effort by Ben Tornado. 109 and change. The 4 really gave IRAD fits. And on the turn there, Ryan, almost looked like the 1 was actually might have got passed by 2 horses.
Yeah.
And then
it
came
looked
back.
like the 4 and the 8 just came on the outside and definitely put at least a nose, maybe even, you know, a long nose ahead in front. And then, I guess IRAD, he looked comfortable the whole way, even inside on that speed duel. But I mean, yeah, he clearly knew what he had under him, and he had enough to really fight back there. So happy I got my single home with minimal handicapping in that race. That was a purely take the IRAD. Now we get into the good meat of the card I have handicapped.
Absolutely.
I do feel good about.
Look, anytime you can get a single, anytime you get a single home, I don't care the price, you're in good shape. We got a lot of people in the chat, Ryan, and we have a chance to take a little deep breath here. So actually, it looks like Gulfstream's got 0 minutes to post as I say that, but it is Gulfstream, so you know you got the little
we got
bit
about
of
5 minutes.
You got some time, but let's go ahead and bring that up, and then Ryan, I'll let you introduce yourself again. We got a lot of people in the chat. I see Chris Couples is here, Katie is here, Michael Lawson is here. What's up, everyone? Doctor Don't Pass One from Buffalo, New York. What's up? The doctor's in the house. The doctor's making a house call, Ryan, this afternoon. We got Erickson, Guaymata, Caceres Hernandez. Hola, senor. What's up, Erickson? Thanks for joining the show. What else? Tom Espinoza is here from San Francisco. What's up?
What's up, Tom?
Let's see here. What else is going on? I'm just looking at the chat. Yep, we got a lot of people in the chat. That was the sunny, I think it was Sunny Breeze. Sorry, it was the 4. I wasn't calling names there because I didn't have my I didn't have the program directly in front of me. Let's go to Gulfstream. We're going to Gulfstream next, race 9. Let me put that on the screen, and then we'll back up a little bit and let you introduce yourself to people that are new to the show. Race 9 is the Aventura Stakes. This is a 1-mile race for 2-year-olds, Ryan, which is nice because they're starting to card races a little bit longer now for 2-year-olds as we get closer and closer to the Breeders' Cup. This is an interesting field of 8. And on the screen, it looks like the 6 is the favorite, Crazy Frazee, I believe it's how it's pronounced. And yes, he is 9-5 right now. I'm actually very interested in the 8-horse Naughty Rascal, who beat some of these last time. Who did you like in this race? I go and show the PPs, Ryan.
Yeah, I had my A as Carambasso, I believe is how you pronounce it. Miguel Vasquez, right? David Fox, the number 4. Yeah. I just love this angle of stretching out 2 sprints to a route. I know it's the 1-turn mile. I think it's going to hit him between the eyes. He's going to be forwardly placed, which we know is always important in these juvenile races, as they're all kind of just getting an experience, learning how to pass other horses. Gulfstream typically plays to speed. So I'm looking at this. I love Miguel Vasquez at Gulfstream Park. He has gotten me home price after price. I know 5-1 is 5-1, but that's still pretty decent in this field. You mentioned at the edge, Naughty Rascal, I believe is the horse. That's my horse that I have as a close B, close second choice for me. Just 2 for 2, another good draw on the outside. Clearly improved the buyer a good, 23 points off the maiden effort going into the second effort in the stakes race, hit the fast dirt track. So I think just kind of really relished the fast track, gets that again here today. So I'm 4 over the 8 here. I think I have them both in a pick 3. And yeah, I'm going to play a straight exacta 4 with 8 as well, just because I do love Vasquez on top in this spot.
I like it. Now, the 6 Crazy Frazee did win going a mile. You got to think that is a benefit because the horse has gone the distance, and that was actually a 2-turn mile, of course, in Mom. This is 1 turn. Coming back a little bit quick with a slow work. Jorge Delgado, real sharp guy. Obviously, he's very good at Gulfstream. I don't know that he did have a little bit of issues in that race, and he ended up winning. It cost $50,000. I don't think this is a Breeders' Cup horse or anything. I don't know. I sort of feel like the 6 is a horse you're going to try to, that you should try to beat here. And the number 7, Classic, of course, ran into a complete freak and Rated by Merit last time, who does have Breeders' Cup aspirations. But again, the 7 is coming back in 2 weeks, and I'm not sure he wants to go a mile. I thought the 7 would take a lot more money. To me, Ryan, the 7's a little bit cold on the board at 3-1.
Yeah, I definitely saw it the same way, especially, to those of us that have the form and look at these speed figures, you'd think having that 76 last out, which I believe is the best in the field, normally you'd think that's going to be a clear second choice just off of the 2-year-olds, just off of that type of experience. And then you mentioned Rated by Merit's a real horse, and they will likely end up in the Breeders' Cup if, stays healthy and continues to progress that way. But yeah, I just tried to beat this horse. Coming back a little soon for me. Obviously, they're 2-year-olds, so they're all lightly raced. So they definitely, are going to have that same kind of energy that, a teenager, like a high school football player type kind of person has, where they're always ready to play a game. They could go double headers. So I still think, though, giving
they're
a little bit
almost
of time.
all in the gate here. I don't mean to interrupt you, Ryan, but
all right, no, let's go.
No, it's all right. The 8's about to load. That's my personal choice, Naughty Rascal. This is gonna be interesting. We're not going to show the sound here, Ryan, but this is gonna be an interesting race. I'm curious to see if any of these 2-year-olds can step up. And there they go from the gate. And there's a lot of bumping on the outside, quite a bit. A bunch of horses veered out, but the 8 Naughty Rascal sort of avoided some of that commotion. Actually, it was your horse, Carambasso, really angled out and does have the lead. I'm curious to see what happens here if their inquiry light's going to go up later in the race. When the race is over. But right now it's Carambasso with the lead. The number 8 Naughty Rascal in second. Doesn't look like they're going too fast. Crazy Frazee in third, but had to rush up a little bit. 24-3. That's very reasonable. If not, I'd say slow, actually. And does not look like a fast pace at all, Ryan. This is good for you if you like your 4.
It is. I do like my 4. I'm a little bit behind, so I was able to watch the break just now. And yeah, the 4 caused all sorts of issues getting out of there. Just veered hard right. Yeah, definitely drifted a few out.
There are 3 across the track now, Ryan. Here comes the 7. Class of Course making a wide early bid, and Naughty Rascals trying to fight in between, as is your horse on the inside. But it looks
7
like
looks good here,
Classic
though.
of Course got the jump. Let's see if he can get the distance. Now Naughty Rascal angles out. He did this in his last start, and he was able to win. Right now, the 2 is trying to come from behind Rafid, as is Crazy Frazzy. They are 4 across the track. Frazzy over the top, beats Rafid, and is going to win the Aventura. What an interesting race.
Nice.
Final time is not posted yet. There it is. 138 and 2, excuse me. Very slow, to be honest. It sort of fell apart late. Ismael Jaramillo made an early move. I don't blame the early move, but Ryan and I talked about it. I wasn't sure if the 7 won the distance.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he did not. And Crazy Frazzy rallies, but I got to tell you what, that was a very slow race. But congratulations to the connections. You got 5-2 on Crazy Frazzy.
Absolutely. You can tell the stamina really played a factor into the 6's win effort there. Coming out of that mile race not too long ago, clearly had the air in his lungs, ready to run today. So yeah, he came with a big performance. That it definitely, to your point, fell apart kind of towards the end. A lot of horses weren't kind of ready for this mile distance. Great credit to the 2 in this race, ridden by, I believe, Edgar Zayas. That was a great ride. He made the right move. He sat the right trip. He avoided the trouble at the beginning, but yeah, no match for Crazy Frazzy or Crazy Frazzy, however you say it. Coming out of that mile race, you can really tell had the stamina and was prepared for this.
Yeah, that was very, very exciting race right there. My top choice, Naughty Rascal. He got actually, as I see now, the off odds. How about this, Ryan? The 6, 7, and 8 were all 5-2. You almost never see that. I'm not sure who the favorite was, but just out of curiosity, let me look at the pools here because I'm a math guy. The 8 actually was a slight favorite in this race by, let's see, math, $386. How about that?
Nice.
Actually, sorry, 900. Excuse me. No. I can't. How are we doing math here on a weekend? Sorry, just less than 1,000. My bad. Anyway, congratulations to Crazy Frazzy or Crazy Frazzy. Where do you go with this horse? I mean, they'd be crazy, literally, to go to the Breeders' Cup because this is going to come back a
very slow race.
A 65 buyer or something.
I was going to say mid-60s. Yeah. That is not a.
But he's now a 2-time stake winner, and this horse might be better, 2 turns as well. So interested to see what they do with Crazy Frazzy, Ryan.
I'm interested as well. Certainly some potential there off that, and honestly, maybe just one of those horses you kind of look forward to maturing into a 3-year-old season. Because a step forward, he's clearly shown he knows knows how to find the winner's circle, which is always what you want. So he's a winning type already. And then maybe he just needs to mature a little bit, kind of grow up, just to kind of take that next step forward in competition. Yeah,
I'm assuming there's no inquiry as well. I'm not actually looking at the live
I didn't see
feed.
anything.
I think Naughty Rascal was really hurt by there's no inquiry sign. It looks like it's fine. My choice, Naughty Rascal, was in a great spot, but was really hurt by Classic of Course, who made that early move, Ryan, which then forced Naughty Rascal and Edwin Gonzalez. I mean, he could have sat, I suppose, and just let Classic of Course go around him. But at that point, the race, you're almost committed. And then he was in between. The trip just didn't work out for Naughty Rascal. I'd look out for him next time. I think this is a decent horse. I don't think distance is necessarily the issue. And that's the kind of sneaky trip you got to watch because it went from great to uncomfortable, in the middle of the race, and it just didn't work out.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely a horse you'd look for next time out. Just, being a 2-year-old, when you come around the far turn, you have a horse just look you in your eye on your outside and pass you. It takes a real special kind of horse to battle back from that moment. So the experience is going to be good. And you said it best. That was just an early move by Classic, of course, and that just kind of discouraged the 2 inside runners, both my pick, Karen Basso, and your pick, Naughty Rascal, to just kind of almost throw in the towel. They weren't really having too much of that.
Yeah, I mean, Karen Basso, that was Miguel Vasquez. I mean, he did everything you wanted, Ryan. He broke. Actually, he didn't break clean, but that's a whole other story. He did get to lead. And they went 24 and 3, 47 and 4. I mean, he had no real excuse. He just wasn't.
No,
Just flat
it just
out
wasn't good enough.
Ryan, well, a very late welcome to the show, as I was hoping to do a few things before, but hey, we're live here. And Ryan, shocker, the post times are completely way off. How about that?
Who saw that coming?
Tracks throughout the country. Ryan, you are co-host of our brand new show that we've talked about last week, and it's called Pacific Horse Players. In fact, I have a banner here. Let me put it up on the screen for everyone to see. Hold on just 1 second as I'm talking through this, but we're really excited to have you as part of the HHH Racing Podcast. There it is right there. I'll take us off the screen.
Hide our faces for this one.
Yeah, it's okay. We could. Let me go and do that. Hold on.
There we go.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that's okay. No, it's because I had to remove that. But anyway, let me try it one more time so people can see it. Hold on a second. There it is. That's our Pacific Horse Player logo. You're going to be co-hosting with Noah Maher, Mr. West Coast Buys himself. Why don't you tell everyone who's new to the HHH Racing Podcast Network a little bit about where you're from, what you did this summer, and anything else you want to share real quickly?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Howard. I'm excited to be co-hosting the show with Noah first off, because, meeting him just another young guy in the game. So we're just able to just shoot shit back and forth about, what we're betting on that day, whatever's going on. And it was immediate that he was just a real cool guy. So I'm excited to host a show with him or co-host a show with him. We're going to focus on the West Coast races, but a little bit about me. I'm born and raised in San Diego. So Del Mar, my home track. I started going in 2019 when my friend brought me over, and then just never kind of looked back. Del Mar, for anybody that hasn't been there, is a beautiful spot, and it's all vibes. And then the racing kind of speaks for itself with full fields, great purses, great prices, everything like that. And then, this summer I was able to intern there with the Thoroughbred Club. So that was an awesome experience. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. Obviously, Howard, Frank Scatoni. He brought me under his wing pretty early. And he's kind of the reason I got kind of started in everything with handicapping. So definitely all the credit to him for that, just because he had me come co-host his seminar with him, one of the first Saturdays out there. And then later in the meet, I was able to be on the simulcast feed for like the pre-race handicapping show there. And then, I started my own YouTube channel. It's called The Gallop Out. And then that's kind of how one thing led to another. But essentially on that show, I have a weekly show with a buddy of mine named Jackson, who's also a young guy in the game. So we kind of talk about Sunday card, typically on the West Coast. But if there's, a big graded stakes day, a big stakes day somewhere else, we'll kind of pivot as we need to. But then once a week, something that I've been able to do that's pretty cool is I get to interview somebody from the racing industry. So this past week, in honor of the Pennsylvania Derby, I got to sit down with Jessica Paquette for about 20 minutes. So we talked horses, talked racing, talked announcing, and that was really cool. And then, obviously getting to hop on as a guest host for your show a couple weeks ago, or for Betting and Boozing, one of your shows. That was a lot of fun. I forget what card we talked about. I think it was Pacific Classic Day.
I believe so. I
want to say Pacific Classic Day, and that was a lot of fun. It was great meeting Kyle and all the boys there. And then,
how did that mix though work out for you, Ryan?
Oh man, that fucking horse, dude. What a mess. That was, that maybe not my favorite Pacific Classic to watch, but in terms of the horses. But I will say this summer, in the internship, I got to kind of be in and out of the jockey's room, be in and around the racetrack, and kind of behind the scenes. So I got to see a lot of Kyle Frey in particular. And that guy was on cloud nine after the Pacific Classic. He's always a happy guy. I've never seen him not smiling. But man, oh man, that guy was like skipping to race 11 or 12 or whatever the race after that was. He was like, he didn't care if he came in dead last. Like, he was on top of the world. So that was just fun to see the jockeys, personalities. I'm going to try and get him on my show in a couple weeks here. once Santa Anita
and
gets back rolling.
Jackson Muniz, your co-host on the Gallop Out. Tell people again where they can find the Gallop Out, your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's going to be YouTube. It's going to be at the Gallop Out is going to be the channel name. And then, it's in my Twitter bio. So at 20 Lengths Clear, X bio, whatever.
Is that now, I'm assuming, I didn't ask you, I'm assuming that's a Flightline reference?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Definitely.
There is a horse named Secretary who won by more than that. But
I know.
That was a little before both of our times, actually.
A little bit. But yeah, no, Flightline has to be my favorite horse that I've seen in person race. I saw him win the Pacific Classic. And he was obviously just a monstrous animal. So Trevor Denman's call, obviously Trevor Denman, in my opinion, my favorite race caller, just because of the accent. But yeah, so 20 Lengths Clear, that's where I got the name.
There you go.
Great observation.
I know why they go. We got a lot of people here in the chat. If you have any questions also for Ryan Anderson, if you want to know him, ask Ryan some questions, what is more about his background or his opinions, please put that in the chat. Katie's one of our best fans and viewers, Ryan. Looking forward to all the shows next week. Chris Couples, who is an excellent handicapper and does some work for In the Money Media as well, especially at Gulfstream, by the way. He didn't have a chance to watch our Picks and Ponies show Thursday. My Parx Derby picks, which we have plenty of time to talk about, Chris, is the number 8 Unmatched Wisdom. That's going to be my top choice. I'm completely against Dragoon Guard, but we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. Robbie Courtney, what's up, Robbie? We haven't seen you in a while, heard from you in a while. Long time away. Good to be back. Robbie, good to have you back. Another big fan of the show. Ryan, you're going to find out if you don't know already. We have an incredibly dedicated list of viewers and listeners.
Oh, yeah.
We're not the biggest podcast out there, but we are pretty good size. And most importantly, our viewers and listeners are awesome, and they come to play all the time. So thanks again for joining us here on this Saturday afternoon of live racing discussion at Parx and Gulfstream Park. Razor Sharp Picks is here. Shout out to everyone. What's up, fellas? What's up, Razor? How are you doing? Thanks for joining the show. Now, Ryan, we've got some let me take the banner off, the scrolling banner at the bottom here, because we got some very, very interesting situation to talk about right now, especially from a betting perspective. First of all, Gulfstream, we've got 16 minutes to post, and Parx has 29. They're putting the nice delay there for the Cotillion. So we're going to be going to go to Gulfstream first, Ryan. But here's my question as I switch it. We've got 2 heavy favorites we're going to be talking about in a row. One is at Gulfstream, one is at Parx. The first one is the number 10, Best Dream, who is currently 3-5 right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up on the screen here in just a second. It's the Princess Rooney. Now, the Princess Rooney is a win and you're in. So the win, whoever wins this race, Ryan, will qualify for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, which right now, I got to tell you what, could be a loaded race. I mean, with ways and means and that freak that, I can't remember the freak that what came from Gulfstream that won at that won at Saratoga. I mean, this is this race could be a really the West Coast. I'm drawing a blank. Who's the West Coast horse? Really nice horse for McCarthy. Sweet Azteca.
Yes,
Sweet Azteca.
thank you.
Come on, Ryan. You're a West Coast special.
I know.
Fan.
I was blanking. I know.
Sorry.
I know. I was blanking on that one. No, that's on me.
No. But the Filly and Mare Sprint could be loaded. Here's the field for the race coming up here at Gulfstream. Again, it is the Princess Rooney Grade 3, $220,000 purse, 7 furlongs for the older girls, 3-year-olds and up. You see Beth Dream. It says 1-2 right now. I see 3-5 on my ADW. Hall and Ice at number 3 is scratched. And then you got co-second choices between Mary Quite Contrary, who's a horse that I have grown quite fond of, but I don't think is as good as she used to be. And then Solvin Angel for Safi and Drayden Van Dyke, who's having a sort of a rebirth, so to speak, as he moved his tack to South Florida. So, Ryan, here's my question. How do you bet this race? Now, I don't even know if Beth Dream's your top choice. We're going to get into it right now. But what do you do when you have heavy favorites? Because we got the Torpedo of the Grizzly Bear in the next race. So I guess the question mainly is, do you like to bet these kind of races? Do you pass? What's your general philosophy with a heavy favorite in any race?
So I'll start with Gulfstream because that's the one we're on. And then I think also my approach for this race versus, when we get to the Cotillion is a little bit different. But in terms of this race, I try and see if I can find a horse that I can make any sort of case for underneath. Obviously, Beth's Dream is going to be tough in here. Mary Quite Contrary and Soul of an Angel are also very good runners. So a horse that I'm going to try and key in like third and second in some light trifectas is going to be the number 9. I forget how to pronounce this name, but a shipper over Piccoli, maybe.
It could be. I actually didn't watch replays in Uruguay to find out, but we'll go with that for now.
So I tried to watch a couple of these races. I think I was only able to watch the 1-2 back successfully, and it was still very grainy and chopped up, but nonetheless, I was able to watch it. It was a good race, obviously won by 5 lengths. The time form, which I guess they did for that race, came back 1:08. That was going 1.25 miles. I believe this is just a mile. Excuse my dog in the background. This is 7 furlongs.
They're actually
7 furlongs.
Yeah.
So a substantial cutback for sure. But shipping over here off the layoff since the break from Maidan, maybe just comes in here and runs a really good first time out race. I think even at this horse's best, still not going to get into the top 2 or definitely not in the winner's circle, not for me anyway. I'll play a light win bet. But essentially, I'm just going to play a 10 over 4-5 over 9, and then a 4-5 over 10 over 9, and then probably key the 9 in second with the same numbers as well, just a few times, just to see if I can spice up those plays at all.
Look, I don't know much about this horse. I did not have time to watch replays. Do you know if this is more of a speed type or more of a closer based on anything you've seen or heard on video?
Nothing I've seen or heard in the race that I was able to watch was forward. But again, it was going 1.25 miles. So the pace didn't look like they were flying. So I never know how that's going to translate on a cutback like this. But has been forward in a lot of those, at least according to the trip notes. And everything. And then, so hopefully he's going to have, somewhat of a forward position here. And I'm just hoping, surprises first time out. Who knows what the future has. But he's a grade 1 winner, so that's something he can say that no one else in the field can, or she can. I'm sorry. I'll drink.
Yeah. Group 1 winner. Listen, we've seen some very good horses in South America over the years, especially way back in my time, not your time, Ryan, but I mean, Argentina has produced some really nice South American horses.
Hey,
the fact that Full Serrano, there you go. Who, by the way, got a little bit sick and is not running next week. I don't know if you heard about that, but
I did not. That is breaking news to me.
Yeah, it should be okay though going forward, but is not running the California Crown as of 2 days ago. Look, the fact that she's 19-1, I think, is a bit problematic. If you like this horse, only because if she was really that live, I think the board would tell Ryan with this kind of horse. I don't know what her style is. My guess, based on the fact she's been going long, is she's going to be taking back and making one big run. However, the fact that she's actually in this race, which is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in, is fascinating, right? I mean, this horse could have been a lot of other spots. She doesn't qualify for allowance. She's won 10 times, although she hasn't won this year. So she probably could be in a certain allowance races if it was written a certain way. We'll see what the 9 does. Beth's Dream has just been awesome. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about this horse. So she's 9 for 16 lifetime, 8 for 10 at Gulfstream. I mean, she has a really good stalking style. I suppose you could say she's regressing slightly by the figs, but she's been winning so easily. It's hard to really tell. Let's go ahead and look at the time for pace projector here, as we've got about 6 minutes to post. So the pace projector in this race actually has the 1 on top here, and then the 6 in second with the 10 stalking. The only reason why we don't see the 9 is because they don't know. Time form can't project what's going to happen with foreign horses with their metrics, so we'll just have to see. I actually was interested in the 3 a little bit, but she's scratched. I suppose my complete wacko idea here would be throw the 2. Some of them are in the mix. Imanra, this is a Safi horse who gets blinkers on and really improved the last time. Maybe she's an improving 4-year-old. She's really done nothing wrong. She was in the Cotillion last year. I mean, she was in pretty tough races But I mean, it looks like she's way too slow to get the job done. Then you've got the horse that are taking money, Mary, quite contrary, who was better earlier in her career, but she's more of a closer who just hasn't been able to touch Beth Stream lately, Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah, Mary Quite Contrary was quite the horse earlier in the career. Obviously, yeah, has tailed off a bit, but going back into last year, that second place in the Madison behind Goodnight Olive, that was a great race to watch. I had her in the exacta that day, so I did well with Mary Quite Contrary. Obviously ran behind Echo Zulu a few times. Just seems to be maybe getting up there in age now at age 5. Maybe just not quite the same caliber of horse. Still a hard trier. You can see hasn't missed the trifecta at Gulfstream, so I'm definitely going to keep use that horse in all my keys in those horizontal play or the vertical plays in this race. But yeah, I don't really think she's going to be able to come in on top here. And then on top of that, the closing style with her kind of getting up there in age, I just don't think it's going to be conducive to her finding the winner's circle. But definitely a great horse to have in your barn, and should be a great broodmare, you'd imagine.
You think, Ryan, I got to interrupt you because we have live right now from the Parx paddock, our co-host, Paul Halloran. Paul, how you doing? What's new at Parx, my friend?
That's good alliteration, Howard. Paul from the Parx paddock. You must
There
be
you
an
go.
English teacher. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Paul. It looks like a beautiful day. Tell me what you see as we're, about 20 minutes approximately to the Cotillion?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Howard. I see a huge crowd around the paddock, and they're not here to look at me. You know, they're here to look at the Queen Torpedo. And, you know, they're around the outside paddock. The horses here at Parx get saddled undercover inside. And there's there's a crowd in there, but there's a huge crowd outside waiting for the horses to come out. They started gathering right after the last race. So she clearly is the main attraction today.
Absolutely.
Paul, I don't want to be. Oh, go ahead, Ryan. Did you want to say something there?
I was just going to say absolutely. And then, Paul, did you bring your bear spray? Because I heard there's a grizzly bear that's coming into that paddock in a couple minutes.
Yeah, well, I'll be in trouble because I can no longer outrun grizzly bears, Ryan. So it should be fun. It should be fun.
Paul, I don't want to be too negative, but let's just say it's been a bizarre day at Parx. There's been plenty of like 2 to 5 shots that have lost. We unfortunately had some breakdowns earlier. They just ran the turf monster, but it wasn't on the turf. I'm personally hoping that these grade 1s can really, light up the sky and bring the crowd to their feet no matter what happens, because you got an absolute superstar in Torpedo, and then of course you have the feature, the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. What's the vibe out there? A really big crowd, I assume, and people are really excited to see the grizzly bear, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a huge crowd, and the other stuff was early in the card. There was a breakdown on turf in the what race was it? The third race maybe,
I believe, yeah.
in the alphabet soup, and then there was a breakdown on dirt. And that takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. We've had 2 gate scratches. The horses have been fine. They just, they acted up in the gate, which happens on a somewhat regular basis. But, when it happens on the same day as you've had other incidents. But, as far as the overall crowd, Howard, they're not, they all have their red PA Derby hats that they were given today on. And it's a pretty enthusiastic crowd. And I think they are really geared up. I think as much for this race as the Derby.
Absolutely. So they're going to be coming out, about 5 or 6 minutes? Paul, I don't know if you're going to have a chance to come back on. Any chance we can see the grizzly bear walking in the paddock, and we'll take you off and bring you back on? Is that possible or not really?
Yeah, I could. Whatever you want. Yeah, they're walking.
Right.
Riders are not up yet.
Right.
They're walking in the paddock. I would suspect how much time to post here?
About 18, I believe. So
yeah,
I'll tell you what, Paul. We're gonna. This will be good timing because we're gonna show the next race at Gulfstream here. It's the Princess Rooney, which is the win in you're in for the for the Breeders' Cup. And I'll take you off screen, then just come back on, and I'll see you on screen. We'll bring you back on.
All right, so I'll keep since we have a connection. I'll keep it open.
All right. Yeah. Oh, good idea. I'll just take you off screen. Thanks,
right.
Paul. All right. Hey, Paul Halloran live from the paddock. How about that, Ryan? Very cool. I just want to quickly talk about Sullivan Angel, who's now taking a lot of money. I personally was against her. I don't know that this turn back is going to work. I don't think she's a 7 furlong horse. And, and she's taking a lot of money. I would be trying to beat her in for second. But she's obviously faced the toughest horses in this field other than Beth Stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, something looking at that race 4 back, going the 1 turn mile in the Ruffian at Aqueduct, I believe beat Randomized in that, who came out to obviously win the Ogden Phipps next time.
Yeah.
That was just a prep for Randomized, if I remember correctly. That was coming off a layoff and just kind of getting her campaign started. But nonetheless, that's a great horse. Obviously cleared and won by 4 lengths and change there. Only a 6-horse field. Maybe is going to like the mile. Something that I didn't particularly care for with this horse is that hasn't hit the winner's circle in 10 tries at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, I saw that
and
too.
Gulfstream does kind of tend to be the horse for course, similar to kind of the Del Mars of the racing world. So a horse that has had that many opportunities and still can't find the winner's circle, I'm not too keen on picking, especially in a deeply competitive race like this. So that's kind of why Mary Quite Contrary and Sullivan Angel are right underneath for both different reasons, because Mary loves to find the winner's circle.
Interestingly, as they're it says 0 minutes to post, but you and I both know that they're just on the track right now. By the way, your 9 looked perfectly fine. Fun fact I got for you about Mary Quite Contrary that I want to bring up. Let me put the PPs on the screen, Ryan. Her last win came December 30th of last year. Yours truly was there.
Nice.
So I don't think Mary's going to win today because she misses her boy.
Yes, absolutely.
But I was actually there. I'll tell you what. I know she's a year older. She's 5 now, and that was 8-9 months ago, whatever. She looked absolutely gorgeous. She is a looker. She was. I mean, boy, was she fit and ready to go in that race. It was a little bit off a layoff. I mean, I've seen a lot of horses in my day, Ryan. She's not like a huge lumbering. She's sort of athletic. She's a little bit smaller for a miler type. But I'll tell you what, there was not 1 ounce of fat on her body when I saw her in December of last year. She's a beautiful horse, but it does look like Father Time is sort of, or Mother Time, I suppose, has caught up with her a little bit. My general thought as I put you back on screen here, and they're going to be going to the post relatively soon. So we'll just do a little bit of I would say wasting time, but we'll talk a little bit. There's 15 minutes to Parx. My thought is I'm going to try to beat Soul the Angel in second. I'm going to go Best Dream. I'm not going to actually play this race, Ryan, to be honest. I just don't have a real strong opinion. If I were to play it, I'd probably play Best Dream over maybe the 2 and the 4, and maybe even throw your 9 in for second, and then throw a few horses in for third. But I would not, put the 5 in second. Not only do I think the distance is a little bit short, it's just you're not going to get paid at all if it comes 10-5. I just have no reason to do that. I'd probably just try to get the 2 in third, I suppose. I don't know. I just don't have anything clever to say here. I guess the big question, Ryan, is do you think Best Dream would actually go to the Breeders' Cup if she won this race?
That's tough. Clearly loves Gulfstream, and Gulfstream and Del Mar play similar in the way that, you have to be normally, if whoever's on the lead at the quarter pole is probably going to win.
And they are lining up in the gate, so you got about 15 seconds here. All
right. I think they certainly give it a look. I think if she wins convincingly here, they certainly give it a thought and give it a good look to see, maybe they ship out. Fees paid, why not?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They are all almost in the gate. We're waiting for the 5, 9, and 10, as I'll give you a little bit of play-by-play. I am not Trevor Denman, but listen, I can call races okay when necessary. And they're in the gate. Here we go. I don't know why they go. How's that? I don't know. Best Dream got out just fine. The 1 is gunning. Cousin Christie from the inside. Absolutely gunning the lead. And Best Dream, as you can see, I'm sure you're watching here, is getting a dream trip. Your 9 is actually showing some speed here, Ryan, in between. I mean, at least she's going to give you a cheap thrill here.
Hey, I'll take it. Pace projector so far spot on with the 1 jetting to the front, though.
Yeah, the pace projector is always good. Best Dream has a monster hold. And my 2 is actually comfortable on the inside in third right now. Unsolved Mystery, the 6, is raging up in 5th. Right now, Best Dream and Jaramillo is just waiting for the cue as the number 1, Cousin Christie, is about to give it up. Here comes Unsolved Mystery for Delgado, actually moving pretty well on the outside into third as Best Dream takes the lead, 45-3. This is relatively hot. Best Dream takes the lead again. Unsolved
9 horse.
Mystery is trying to come up on the outside with the 2. And here comes Soul and Angel. Soul and Angel is rolling on the outside, and Best Dream's in a lot of trouble. Soul of an Angel is going to go right on by. Soul of an Angel wins the Princess Rooney by 4 comfortably. Wow, that was an impressive run. 123-1. We got to go to Paul Hallen right now at Parx. Paul, Soul and Angel just blew by Beth's Dream at Gulfstream and will qualify for the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint if she wants to go with Drayden Van Dyke. Paul, what do you see right now in the paddock at Parx?
Well, the big grizzly just walked by. She looks great. Just had some nice small talk with Mike Smith, who was riding Mystic Lake, who was coming off a win in Charlestown. He flew in from the West Coast overnight to ride this horse, leaving right after the race.
Paul, if you want to turn your phone to see the grizzly, I don't know if we can see her. Let's see.
She's on the other side of the paddock. Let me see if I can get over there.
All right. Hey, look at this.
She's on the other side of the paddock. I'm going to walk over right now.
Ryan, I could not have been more wrong about Soul of an Angel, by the way.
I guess she
call her name because she really sort of came out of nowhere. That was an explosive.
Oh, she's going to come right behind me in about 20, 30 seconds. So you'll see her.
Okay, terrific.
I will say while we have about 15.
Oh, let's see. We got there's the 3 and yep.
Try to get myself out of the photo.
Yeah, that's okay. I know you're doing the best you can there, Paul. We appreciate it. Again, 10 minutes to Cotillion. There's Everland. That was Tarifa. That was just before him. And Sidamara, there's the 5 for Mott and Ortiz. And here comes the Grizzly Bear. Here she comes. Look out. There she is, the Grizzly Bear, looking good, Paul. Neck bowed. I don't, look. You know how I felt about this horse on this show. Obviously, she's the horse to beat. I have a weird feeling she's not going to run her best race. That doesn't mean she's not going to win, though, Paul.
Yeah, we were just talking. I mean, she's obviously a very, very likely winner, but not as likely winner as Next was. So that show just keeps on rolling. Breaking news on that, by the way, they're going to decide in the next 2 weeks if they go west. It will likely be to the turf.
Ooh,
that's what I hear, and they are deciding what to do. They were trying to measure Ryan distance with surface, like what was more important to them.
Distance is the more important to them.
Okay. Paul, I good luck in the turf. That's all.
Well,
I'm
I hear you.
Yeah.
If I had a bet, I would say they're not going to go, but if they go, they don't want to run anything less than 1 3/8 miles. Obviously, the turf is 1.5 miles. So if they go, it'll be the turf. They're going to decide within 2 weeks. As I said, my guess would be they don't, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about next in a minute. Paul, I'm going to have you stay on for a next minute or two if you'd like. Soul and Angel, and I'm going to show the PPs on the screen, just won very convincingly over Best Dream. And I thought it made a big move. The Filly and Mare Sprint is a very tough race this year, Paul, but I thought 7 furlongs would be too short for Soul of an Angel. I couldn't be more wrong. Here are her PPs obviously on the screen. Paul, would you go to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint with this horse? I mean, she's qualified. I guess why not, right?
I think so. Yeah, and it would be a cutback, right? Which we love, right? Well, today's race?
That was 7. This is 7 also.
All right, so cutback. I'm looking at the PPs. Don't forget to bet Tarifa, who you picked on the show. He's 17-1 as we speak.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, let's get back. Let's get to the Cotillion. Tell us your top picks, Paul. Who do you like in this race? Refresh everyone on who you liked in the Cotillion.
Well, I picked the 6, and I picked the 1 second, I believe, and Bill Motzos third, the 5, Sidamara. I think if we are going to see a shocker in this race, don't be surprised if it's the 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise at all. Right now, scrolling at the bottom of the screen is our picks from the Thursday show with Philly Joe Mecca and Andrew Rosinski. Paul, I
just had a guy yell to me, Paul, I watch the show all the time. How's that?
Unbelievable. That's very cool. Paul, let me ask you a question. I'll let you go. Last question.
Yeah.
If something strange were to happen, other than not breaking or something, we don't want anything disastrous, but trip-wise, how does Torpedo Anna lose this race?
I think she loses if the Travers took too much out of her. To be very honest with you, Howard,
Okay. Yep.
I don't know. I don't think it would be the trip that gets her beat as much as it's just not her day. That's my honest opinion. Because you got a mile and an eighth. She's got a good post, so I just think it's more a case of if for any reason it's not her day, and we're going to find out.
Last question. Are you surprised that Mystic Lake is actually the second choice over Tarifa, Power Squeeze, and Citamara right now?
A little bit, although I mean, 8 times in the exactor out of 11. One last time, albeit a sprint at Parx. I think you can, based on a very brief conversation with Mike Smith, I think you can expect to see that horse sitting on go and will be sent.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you after the race, Paul. Thanks for all the coverage. We greatly appreciate it. Again, once the race is official in a few minutes, just come back on when you feel like. Are you
Yeah,
gonna keep this open again, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna have to grab some quotes first, though, and then I'll
right.
try to get back on at some point before the Derby.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks,
All
Paul.
right, see you,
Appreciate the
Ryan.
coverage, man. Bye bye.
Yep.
All right, there we go, Paul Halloran. What do you think of the board right now? We got Mystic Lake 11-1. Tarifa's at 16. Look, all these prices are huge. Obviously, Ryan, they're inflated because of Torpedo Anna. Give me your impressions of this race.
Yeah, I mean, tough to beat Torpedo here. If she shows up with even her B+ effort, I wouldn't say solid B because Power Squeeze is a decent horse. And a horse that I like underneath is Tarifa. Flavian Pratt, Brad Cox. We've seen what they can do, the damage they can do. So my exacta here is just a straight 6-3. But this is the kind of race, and this race leading into the PA Derby is the perfect kind of back-to-back grade 1 for me. Because to me, this race, you just get to kind of watch a superstar run. And then in the next race, we have a pretty deep, very competitive field in the PA Derby. And I like a couple of prices in there. So I'm looking forward to that and just kind of moving forward and seeing what we can do.
Let me reiterate what I talked about. And there's 5 minutes to post. And Ryan, I'm going to either look like a complete effing fool in about 10 minutes or people are going to think I'm a genius. I said this on Thursday, and I'm just going to say it again. Ryan, you're a young man, but you've seen plenty of horse racing in your short time on this earth. I'm an old guy, so I've seen a lot. Crazy shit happens in this game, okay?
Yes.
I don't like the spacing for Torpedo Anna here. I like when horses run. I actually don't like when I usually don't like when horses have like 8-9 weeks before the Breeders' Cup. This would be an exception to me. And look, McPeak has been unbelievable with this horse. So who the hell am I to say? But from a gambling and a betting perspective, this feels like just a bridge race. This just feels like we want to keep her in shape and we don't want to wait 8 weeks. She has two works only since the Travers, where she ran, I mean, a hole in the wind, much better than I thought she'd run. She ran a 1:11 for God's sakes. I mean, she was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Much better than I thought. Almost won the damn thing. Since then, she's a slow maintenance work, which you would assume would happen. And then a bullet work, but it's only best of 13. There is no way anyone can tell me that she's going to run a buyer close to even 105 or even maybe low 100s at best in this race. And in my opinion, she's going to run in mid-90s. I think, and people are going to say, well, that's a bounce. It's not a bounce, Ryan. This is a regression to the mean. This is what she normally does. Unless people think she's a 110 buyer horse now and one of the best filly mares we've seen in the last 50 years, I don't think she's that. Can she win this race with her B-? Yes, but I think I don't expect her to run great today. If she wins, I think she's going to win by a length or two. I don't think it's going to be very impressive. And Parx is we've already seen a lot of big favorites lose today. I would not be shocked at all if Torpedo Anna is upset. Take it or leave it, folks. That's just my opinion. I'm going 3-6-5, as you can see on the screen. I think Tarifa has a chance, second off the layoff here, to run a big race. The horse that beat her. Fibber in the last race just came back and run second in the Dogwood today. She had numbers in the winter and spring, Ryan, that were not that far off of Torpedo. Flavian can do Flavian things. I know he's one of your guys. I think something bizarre could happen here. Call me crazy.
No, I won't call you crazy on that one. I think the logical second choice is Tarifa. I think Power Squeeze has just been beaten by Torpedo Anna enough. Sidamara is an interesting look, no doubt. But Tarifa, just the second off the layoff is a good angle. Pratt on board's a good angle because he does his handicapping as much as you, me, or anybody else does. He knows exactly what to do. Look to the right on Highland Falls in the Jockey Club Gold Cup is a perfect example. But Pratt does his homework. He's going to know where to place this horse. He's going to know how to be aggressive and what to do.
So I'm going to try to get a bet in here before I'm doing a little win bet on Tarifa just in case she can pull it off. I'm assuming there's bridge jumpers too. Did you look at the show pool?
I'll look right now.
Real quick.
I'll look right now.
Oh my goodness, 130 out of 165,000. When I see that, I have to do a little bit to show on some horses, just a little bit for S's and giggles, because if it happens, it's going to be a crazy payout. So I'm going to play a little bit to show. I'm going to do it on the 3 and the 5, which I normally don't do, everyone, but I'm going to do it in this case as they're about to go in the gate. Look, I don't wish anything bad upon Torpedo Anna. In fact, I said Thursdays they're going to the gate here, Ryan. I hope Torpedo Anna loses, and then I'm going to be like a full shove in the Breeders' Cup betting challenge at 8-5, 9-5, instead of like the 3-5 that she could be in the distaff against a Dara Manor and Idiomatic. That's what I'm selfishly hoping. Look, I'm sure she's going to run very well today, according to most people. I just want to see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think even a upper 90s. I think she runs a 98 here, and I think a 98 wins. I think there is a chance that she ran an absolute hole in the wind in the Travers at Saratoga, going a mile and a quarter. Yeah. And I think that had something to do with the 111 that we see. I think at this distance, her best is probably a 102, and I don't think she's cranked up for that right now. So
six are in the gate. There's 2 or 3 more left. Again, this is live on the HHH Racing Podcast. The Grade 1 Cotillion featuring the Grizzly Bear, Torpedo Anna, Brian Hernandez. How about 1-9? Let's see if she can win
in a Grade 1
the Cotillion. They're all in the gate. And they're off, and she breaks absolutely perfectly. Smith is sending from the outside, and Gunsong is sending too. But Torpedo's going to sit, it looks like, comfortably in second, as Tarifa didn't break great and is now in fourth. Sidamara fifth. Torpedo's on the inside. Mike Smith can make this a bit uncomfortable for her, though, here, Ryan. This is going to be interesting.
It is. I want to see if Mike, sends Mystic Lake ahead a little bit more. Maybe comes over on Torpedo.
Well,
just to kind of.
Torpedo's comfortable, but 23-4. Mike Smith should be going. Like, there's just no reason to be cute here.
You're letting Torpedo into the
comfortable.
Race.
I'll tell you what, Tarifa's sitting a real nice trip right now, as is Gunsong. As Tarifa now goes to the outside and is in fourth. Torpedo is now about 2 or 3 lengths off. Looks like she's sitting comfortably, but we'll see what happens here. Sidamara in fifth, 48. This is not very fast at all. Torpedo really has no excuses, Ryan.
Yeah.
Gunsong moving on the outside. Tarifa in third. Torpedo sitting in fourth, 48. Torpedo just has a
Pratt's going to do his best to keep Torpedo in here.
Torpedo could I'll tell you what. Well, Tarifa's asking a lot. I'm not sure he can hold off the Grizzly Bear. Torpedo wants out and can't get out yet as the number 7 takes the lead. Now Torpedo finds room, but Tarifa is outside of her. This is not going to be easy for Torpedo. You've got Gunsong still in the lead. Torpedo and the Grizzly Bear goes by. But Gunsong's fighting back. Wow. That was very weird and very interesting. Yeah. Torpedo Anna wins by a comfortable half length, Ryan. This was a fascinating race. What did you see here?
Torpedo was not 100%. The Travers took a lot out of her. You could tell the final 16th of a mile there. She was crying for room and really only got to run her race about 200 or so yards of it. Kudos to Pratt. Did a great job keeping her in best he could. That's kind of what the move had to be here. But Gunsong fought back hard right towards the end there. But you could see maybe 50 yards before the finish, Torpedo got tired. Torpedo definitely hit a wall. She's still going to win comfortable head, but you could tell she definitely had some starch taken out of her after that run in the Travers, and she's just better than these fillies.
I got hold on, Tom.
Yep.
I gotta push back a little bit, Ryan. Here, I don't think
Okay.
she was getting tired. Johnny V looked like he was looking to the infield scoreboard to see the infield tote to see like what kind of lead he had. We can agree to disagree. I don't think Torpedo was getting tired. I just know that they didn't want to like expend too much energy in that race, like I said. And Gunsong like fought back, but I think really Torpedo was never losing that race late, although it looked like it got interesting, but really that was Johnny V just sort of wrapping up, in my opinion, Ryan. You can rewatch and tell you what you think. I'll tell you what, when you got great riders like Flavian and Mike Smith, these are Hall of Fame. Flavian's going to be in the Hall of Fame. They did everything they can to beat Torpedo Anna, and credit Brian Hernandez with a really good patient ride. But I just want to say, I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back. She was clearly not her best, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, when she did find room there, Ryan, I mean, the good Torpedo Anna would have won that by 3 or 4. She won by half a length. It could have been a little bit more, but I'll tell you what, that was clearly not her best for sure.
Yeah. No, I was watching the replays just now on my phone. You're definitely right. This was that was not Torpedo getting tired. You were right. I was wrong on my initial observation there. But yeah, no, she was not her 100%, cranked up self today, but she's still best in this field. As we mentioned, this was probably her B effort, maybe B minus, and it was still enough. I don't think anybody else took a giant leap forward enough, or clearly nobody took a giant leap forward enough to strongly contend with her here.
Yeah, I think that was more like her C plus effort. I mean, that was
maybe,
just,
yeah. I'm curious to see what this buyer comes back. We might be low 90s.
I don't know. It was not very
145.
fast.
Yeah, 145.45 is not the fastest.
No, it was definitely not. It was not very fast at all. There's no doubt about it. I think that's going to be like a 92. Because they were not going. What was the final time? 140. What was the final
145.45.
Wow. Oh, that's a model 16th, right? Yeah. That's
yes.
not very fast. What does this mean for Torpedo? Well, first of all, Gunsong ran a monster race. Let's give her some credit. 44-1 with Johnny V. I'm sorry, Brian Hernandez was on Torpedo, and I kept saying
I know what you meant.
Johnny V.
I know what you meant.
The comments in the chat are probably, Howard, you're a complete idiot. Let me see if there's any. I apologize, everyone. I meant Brian Hernandez. That was Johnny V on the inside there. Credit to Gunsong and Johnny V for running a big effort. Tarifa didn't break great and then sort of rushed up and was a little bit disappointing, just flattened out in the lane. Cinemara wasn't good enough in this race. Mystic Lake gave it up late. I mean, no one really ran other than Gunsong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think people are going to take out of this race for Torpedo Anna? I got to tell you, when I'm wrong, I'm going to say I was absolutely wrong. I was absolutely right about Torpedo Anna. She did not run great today. The problem was no one else was good enough to beat her.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on. Torpedo didn't run her best race, but nobody ran a career best race. And that's what it would have taken to beat her, even on what was clearly her off day. So Gunsong, again, I'd be surprised if they don't send Gunsong to the Breeders' Cup. She's a very talented filly, and she's not far behind some of these in here. Obviously, the other part, to go off on a tangent a little bit, I don't think the distance at a mile and a 16th is exactly what she wants. I think a mile and an eighth hits Torpedo between the eyes. Obviously, I think a mile and a quarter really hit her between the eyes, but I think that might have just been kind of a one and done type deal with how big of an effort she gave, and it clearly took a lot out of her.
Okay. I can't, man, I don't have a big argument there. I don't know how good Gunsong is. I don't think she's even remotely close to the top fillies and mares in the division. I suppose she'll go. I guess I don't have a reason to say that she won't go. I don't know if that effort really is as good as it looks, to be very honest. Let's get some comments in the chat here because I was ignoring it for a little bit. Let's see here. Chris Coates wants to know. Oh, sorry. How did I get a job being Paul's intern? I thought it was a question for you. That he wants to be Paul Halloran's intern at Parx. Yeah, he's got a good gig. Paul's there with the Saratoga Special, so he gets, that's a great thing about Paul here. Let's see here. I'm just looking at some comments in the chat. Right at the Ryder said she didn't need her best. I would agree with that. It was a slow time. It was a tune-up race, absolutely. Let's see. I'm just trying to think. Wow, Katie likes Adair. Adair will beat her up in the Ladies Classic.
Katie's pretty right. Adair's going to be tough. Adair's going to be tough. I'm probably still taking Torpedo, but Adair is going to be. It'll be noses. If they both run their A's, it'll be
Ryan
noses.
Anderson, you and I are going to have a big fight about that over the next 6 weeks. But
yes, we will.
I look forward to that, my friend.
Me too.
Let's see. Yeah, Chris, great race riding by Pratt. I mean, there was nowhere to go. Tarifa, if Tarifa had more horse, I'm not sure. I don't think Torpedo would win this race.
No, she would have finished third. She wouldn't have gotten past Gunsong, and if Tarifa had more horse, and I'm with you on that one. That was
Hernandez just asked for enough. I mean, if you're the connections of Torpedo Anna, what a perfect scenario. The horse didn't run her best. She didn't, she didn't have to use her, empty the tank, and she just won $1 million race. I mean, and you know what? When they look at the as a broodmare and they look at her book and they look at her PPs, well, the PPs will say she won by half a length, but it's just going to say a grade 1. No one's going to give an F 10 years and after she won by an inch or won by 5 lengths, right?
Yeah, and no one's going to think like, oh, well, that Cotillion was just a prep for the distaff. Like, nobody's thinking that way. It's a grade 1 win, another one for Torpedo Anna. So, absolutely, yeah. To Tom's credit, nobody knows this horse better than Brian and Kenny. And so, Brian definitely just asked her for, asked of her what she needed to give. And I think that was pretty much all said and done.
I want to hear in the chat right now, because we got hundreds of people listening and watching right now, Ryan. I want to hear what people think about the distaff right now. Are you Team Torpedo? Are you Team Adair Manor? Let's not forget about Idiomatic, by the way, who a lot of people thought Idiomatic was on her way down. She ran huge in the Personal Ensign at Saratoga. So who do you like right now? Let's just stick with Torpedo or Adair. Are you a Torpedo guy or girl out there? Are you an Adair Manor guy or girl right now? Please put in the chat right now who you would think is going to win in 6 weeks at Del Mar. And does this effort by Torpedo Anna scare you at all? Ryan, I know you like Adair Manor, but if you were a Torpedo Anna fan like I am in that race, what's your takeaway after seeing this race today?
Oh, I mean, she's going to be ready for the Breeders' Cup for the distaff. No doubt. This was not a discouraging race by any means. If you're a fan of Torpedo Anna, this was what you wanted to see. You probably don't want to see her win by 10 lengths here, because that would mean that she's given her full A effort. This was just her keeping maintained. This is just maintenance on the car, an oil change in a grade 1, just keeping the tires greased and ready for Del Mar is my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I was hoping that she would lose to help her price, but this is going to be a very slow buyer. And I think some people are going to look at that and think, maybe. I agree with Chris Couples. And Chris Couples, if Anna's 100%, the rest are running for second. I tend to agree. I wouldn't mind. I don't know if they're going to do this or not, Ryan. I wouldn't mind if they send Torpedo, actually a lot of Midwest and East Coast horses. I'd like to see them send Torpedo out a good week early and actually have a work or at least a strong gallop the week before the Breeders' Cup. I don't know if they're going to do that, but as you know, and you're going to talk about this on Pacific Horse Players, Del Mar it can be a little bit weird. It's along the ocean. It's a different climate. Some horses run on it. Some horses like Arrogate hated it. I mean, So you never really know what these Midwest and East Coast horses are going to do. That obviously is a big advantage to Adair Manor, basically a home court advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, though, the tight turns on the dirt kind of mimic Saratoga in a way. So horses can kind of translate Saratoga to Del Mar is kind of what I've noticed. But no doubt, home court does go to Adair Manor here. But even so, I think on Torpedo's best day, the rest are probably running for second. Although Adair Manor, I love what she showed when she won the Clementel Hirsch this summer, because she was bullied by the other two jockeys. Mike Smith sent Scylla out to the lead. I believe, I forget who kept Adair Manor hemmed in basically the entire trip. So I'm looking forward to this distaff race, and I think, there's a lot of pace signed in. There's a chance that we get something crazy in second under Torpedo, and I feel like I know who that horse is going to be if Pratt keeps them out.
Let's start with the Ginger Punch. This is the last race of the
it.
day at Gulfstream. It says 0 minutes to post, but they're not quite going to the gate yet. It switched to the Tapeta. I'm assuming they got some rain yesterday or at some point. It's a big field of 12 right now. The favorite is the number 8, Majestic Venezuela. I'm most surprised at 8-5. My personal top choice, if it was on turf, and I put this in the power picks, was the number 1, Charlie's Wish, who is 3-1. Should set a real nice trip. Your thoughts in the Ginger Punch, the last race of the day at Gulfstream?
Ginger Punch, yeah. I liked a couple here. All three are prices. First was number 3. That's Violet Gibson.
Yep.
Rather, turf to synth, no synthetic breeding really whatsoever, or experience on it. But I like the post. I like the connections, and can close. And I think there's a good amount of pace signed on in here. So that's one of my top choices. I think I wrote it down wrong. I have Boston Rose actually as my A in here, the number 5.
Wow, 13-1, as is Violet Gibson, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a price in this one. I think there's just a lot of pace, and obviously this one is going to be one of the ones that's forward. But I like the synthetic form. I love these 2 blowout wins on synthetic. Drayden obviously hops off to go ride for, I assume, a Saffy mount in here, as that's his primary kind of primary trainer.
He's on the outs. Is he on the outside horse? Trying to remember. Yeah,
Angel
Towser, who, by the way, Towser. I'm completely against here, but we'll see.
Same. So yeah, for that reason, I wanted to go with a price here, something crazy, blow up the tote board. Why not?
Yeah, I think Violet Gibson, she looks slow on paper, but she's been given some time off. It's Saffy. That last race was actually, I thought, pretty impressive, coming very wide in the stretch and winning. I'm not sure who she beat, though. I'm a little bit against. Yeah, this is a tough race. I wasn't a big fan of Angel Nadashenko here, although she could wire the field. I just don't know how good she is anymore. But it's Saffy and Joe Bravo. I'm sure she's going to the lead. I just thought Charlie's Wish is the most honest horse in here. I don't have anything really clever to say. I just think she's solid. I think she's actually a little better on the turf. I have no idea about synthetic. She's never run on it, so that might be a negative. I'm getting 7-2 right now. My top choice is Charlie's Wish. I'm also want to very quickly, as they're going to the gate, show off the number 6, who's 20-1, another Saffy. This Hazelwood jock was a very good jock. I think from Barbados. He was the leading jockey there. He's actually a decent jockey, Ryan. I've actually won on him a little bit when he was running. This is Gary and Mary West, by the way. I wouldn't completely sleep on a horse called Show Off at 16-1 as they go to the gate here. This is a really interesting race. I wish we had more time to talk about it. I'm going to go 1. Who am I going to go? I'm going to go 1, 8, 6. Give me your top 3.
Yeah, I'm 5, 3, 6. I had the 6 as my third choice as well. Another B just under Violet Gibson. So
and
5,
they're
3,
off
6.
And they break clean. And let me get. It looks like there's a bunch from going to lead. As you said, it looks pretty speedy. Angel Nadashenko is not going to get an easy lead. In fact, I don't think she's going to have the lead. It looks like she's going to be in third unless she holds position here. And I'm trying to get some names. Looks like Boston Rose is on the lead and a 51-1 shot with Edgar Perez, the number 11, Swoon Natra actually takes the lead. Your 5 is in a good spot. Boston Rose. Angel Nadashenko is going to be rating. in third. And what is that? Is that the 13 is looked like outside of that? Another
Friendly
bomb.
persuasion.
23 and 3. The 3, by the way, is getting a dream trip on the inside. Violet Gibson. 23 and 3. That's not crazy fast, but it's not slow either. The number 6 Show Off, who was bet down to 7-1. What? There we go.
Yeah. Good old
You know what that
Gulfstream.
means. Well, look out for Show Off. And the number 1, Charlie's Wish, is trying to make a move. Here comes a rocket from the outside.
Ooh,
Majestic Venezuela is making a sweeping move. Charlie is
Big
trying to
move.
follow her. I'm not sure she's going to be good enough. And also the 12 is moving Towser really well. The entire
of closers
complexion
coming.
changes. It's Majestic, Natashinko. Here comes Charlie and Towser. Charlie's Wish takes the lead. Come on, Charlie, do it for me one time for Charlie. It's Charlie takes the lead, trying to fight back. Is Majestic Venezuela not going to do it? Howard's top choice, Charlie's Wish. The dream comes true. I don't have to wish. Charlie's Wish. 3-1. Miguel Vasquez, David Fox. All right, I'll take 3-1. I'll take a winner.
That entire complexion changed on that far turn as they were coming around. A bunch of really big moves as they came around. And yeah, Charlie's Wish with the best. Nice pick.
That was by the way, if I can tout it, a power pick spot play. Ding. Let's 3-1. We'll take an $8 horse. Towser, boy, did Towser really flatten out late. Woo.
Yeah.
The number 9 actually gets up for third. That was Chick's Shadow at 15-1. Majestic Venezuela just moved too early. I don't know if she moved too early. She just wasn't good enough, but she had to make a really wide, sustained move and a very patient ride, actually, by Miguel Vasquez. Ryan, who sort of let the other guys go around, or gals go around, and then followed and made the last move and the winning move at 3-1, second choice. After all that, Ryan, it comes second choice, first choice, 1-2.
Isn't that always how it works?
It can happen that way for sure. Ryan, here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to set up a few things. We're going to take a very short break here in just a minute. Let everyone catch their breath, including me, because we got 27 minutes to the Pennsylvania Derby. Hopefully, a lot of people will cash there. Maybe our buddy Charlie Freeman cashed on Charlie's Wish.
You'd hope so, right? You'd hope
so. And he's a Gulfstream guy, by the way, too. So hopefully,
I think on Betting and Boozing on number 100, I want to say he picked him. I think the name had something to do with it.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I hope he did. Ryan, doing an awesome job so far, as expected. Greatly appreciate it. I'm sort of scrambling all over the place, so I apologize to everyone at home if I'm speaking too fast or I'm clicking too many buttons, because, hey, I'm the producer, I'm the editor, I'm the executive producer, I'm the director, and the host. Doing it all, as you know, Ryan. Look, we're going to take a short break, about a 2-minute break, Ryan, and then we're going to come back and talk a little more about Torpedo Anna, talk about whatever people want in the chat, and discuss the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby race, 13 at Parx. Let me put up the banner. There it is. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay tuned, everyone. All right, we are back live here. Host Howard Kravitz along with co-host Ryan Anderson, not only co-host of this show, Picks and Ponies, but our brand new co-host of our new show that's based on West Coast horse racing called Pacific Horse Players, which is, well, there you go, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be hosted by Noah Maher. Please spread the word. Support these guys and West Coast racing again. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Pacific Horse Players, following Bet and Boozin, host Noah Maher, and this guy right here who's doing an awesome job, co-host Ryan Anderson. Ryan, let's I want to explore this Torpedo Anna a little, just another few minutes, then we're going to talk about the Pennsylvania Derby, which is in 21 minutes right now. And before we get into that race, right now the favorite, and I gotta say I'm a little surprised, is Seize the Gray at 2-1 is favorite. Go ahead.
I'm thinking that's my racehorse money.
You think?
That's like it's gotta be. That's the only way. Is Unmatched Wisdom still the close second choice?
Yes, 5-2 right now.
Okay. We'll obviously, yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. But I know you wanted to touch on the Grizzly Bear.
I did. You know what I really like about her? And she was my top pick in the Kentucky Oaks. If you don't believe it, go back and look at our shows. And I was there. We were there for that, of course, because, well, we don't want to talk about that weekend anymore, but you know why. But we saw the Grizzly Bear win. You know what? She's got exactly the kind of racing style I would want if I owned a horse, Ryan. She doesn't have to have the lead, but she's got nice tactical speed. She can sit in a pocket. She can do almost anything you want her to do. I would guess if you took her back, she could probably explode late if she really needed to. That's part of the reason why I like her in the distaff. And I got a lot of respect for Adair Manor, by the way. She's a really nice horse. I just don't think she's as talented as Torpedo Anna, and she clearly has not faced the kind of competition that Torpedo Anna has faced. But the way that Anna can rate and sit if necessary is just a big feather in her cap, in my opinion.
Something I will say, going back to last year's distaff, and I know it was at Santa Anita, so it's not at Del Mar, but something Torpedo has this year that none of them really did last year. None of those horses wanted that final 16. They were all going up and down. Torpedo wants the distance. She wants to go. She would run 1.25 miles for the distaff, and she would be happy to do it. So I think the 1.125 miles, I think that's where she finds the winner's circle in most scenarios, is that extra 16th of a mile. I think that really does make a difference. I think she just gets going at about 1 mile. And then by 1.125 miles, she is so far out in front, the other fillies don't know what hit her.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is Torpedo and Adair Manor, excuse me, actually have very similar styles, if you think about it, right? I mean, they are very similar. They both don't have to have the lead. They're both tactical. I don't know. I think Adair Manor might be naturally actually a little faster than Torpedo Anna, but with Idiomatic in there and maybe randomized too, that's gonna be a hell of a race. That's gonna be. I'll tell you what. That might be one of the races of the weekend.
Absolutely.
I know, and people could say it's a 2-horse race, maybe so, but what a matchup that's going to be in the distaff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think it's going to be also imperative that we pay attention to how the track plays, because typically, obviously, Del Mar plays to speed, but there's also weird days where they do something, and maybe it's the tide, even though I don't really believe in that whole thing. Who knows what it could be? The way the wind blows, literally, and closers all of a sudden have an advantage at the quarter pole. It's pretty rare, but it does happen on occasion. We saw it last time the Breeders' Cup was at Del Mar in the distaff with there was the I'm forgetting the horse, but one
March Lorraine. I was there. 21.
Yes.
Won at 40-1.
The horse Latruska was the horse that was on the lead and just blazed to the 1/2 mile.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can only go so fast on that track, even if speed is favoring.
Yeah.
So faded, and obviously that race blew up with one of the Japanese runners coming in on top, one of their 2 or 3 winners of the weekend. But I think it's gonna be interesting, because I do agree that Adair Manor is naturally quicker. And she was, up until the Clement L. Hirsch, she was a need the lead type. And then she proved that she could sit off and could take kickback and is versatile.
Right.
So I think that's going to be big. And I think there's a chance that we see Adair and Torpedo kind of side by side, depending on post draws as they kind of go in tracking the leaders, which would be a really cool sight. And then turning for home is just who's better.
Well, assuming I don't know if Adair Manor is going to run next week because she had that little hiccup and didn't run the Pacific Classic. That's not ideal either. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I wouldn't be surprised if she runs the $1 million race against the boys in the California Cup Crown, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, we got more important things to talk about right now, and that is the Pennsylvania Derby. As I'm just opening up my my ADW and getting to a bunch of information. Let's look at the field for the running of the $1 million Pennsylvania Derby right now as I'll put it on the screen. Very interesting race. You got the one Doc Sullivan, who is currently 19-1. Seize the Gray, taking all of that My Racehorse money with two very poor efforts, frankly, in his last two, is 2-1. Lonesome Boy shouldn't be in this race, but he is. He is 99-1. Timeout. This is a very interesting horse, in my opinion, for Mott and Rosario, 9-1. Protective, who just broke his maiden, I think has the most wins probably of a horse that's eligible for an N1X in the country because he's won like 250 grand or something. 14-1. You want to sleep on Pletcher and Irad at those prices? I don't. Just Step on It is going to have to step on it big time to even be a factor. He's 72-1. Dragoon Guard, who was the morning line favorite at 9-5, and frankly, Ryan never should have been the morning line favorite at 9-5, is probably where he should be, at least in my opinion, 7-2. Unmatched Wisdom was a ridiculous 8-1 in the morning line and is 5-2, taking a ton of money for Chad and Flavian, who's the king, another bomb. Uncle Heavy, who has a chance, I think, to clunk up and get a slight piece of this, who I liked last time, much tougher spot, PA bred, 31-1. And then a horse that I know you're very familiar with, Stronghold, coming in from the West Coast for D'Amato and Fresu, Ryan. This horse could have easily run next week on his home turf. They ship him all the way across the country in the Penn Derby. Let's talk about Stronghold first, since I just mentioned him. And I'll bring up the PPs. What's your thoughts? He is a very healthy, juicy 7-1 right now. Does have to break from the far outside, though. I'm not sure that's going to be an advantage to him.
Yeah, he definitely shipping over from Indiana Grand was his last race, although he was out at Santa Anita up until the ship. Sneaky horse. I think a little light on the buyers, so I think 7-1 is accurate. The morning line here, needless to say, was not the most accurate thing we've ever seen. So sneaky horse for sure. Gonna have to work out a trip from the outside, but I will take 7-1. 7-1 is a great price. In fact, as you were going through the field, I put a win bet on Stronghold because I have in my notes 6-1 and above is worthy of a win play for me. 8-1 on Unmatched Wisdom. I don't know who thought we were getting that on the morning line. This is the clear, to me, second choice based on the run in the Curlin, even though that was a relatively easy lead. But the horse I have on top, you did touch on, is Timeout. I like when Mott kind of places him aggressively like he did here. I like Rosario in this race. That's a strong closer. I don't think he's going to find trouble in this race, which he, can do from time to time. But I'm thinking this is the race for Timeout. I like the progression. And then, I don't know, something about when Bill Mott, finishes second in an allowance race and then thinks enough of him to place him here and do a grade 1. He's one of those trainers that I just kind of trust his foresight on this sort of a thing. So seeing Timeout in this spot, I think the pace is going to set up. I think he's going to need a really big step forward in terms of the class that he's facing here, but I think he is capable on his best day. So I have Timeout on top.
So let me put our picks on the screen, first of all, from our Thursday show. Again, we had Philly Joe Metka and Andrew Rosinski, two really good handicappers, both Philadelphia guys that know the track very well. So I'm going to put their picks as well as myself, Pete and Paul. And you can see who I went with here, Ryan, if you didn't have a chance to check out our show. Here's my opinion. First of all, let me talk about ticket construction. I played a pick 5 at Parx. We all know what had happened with the first race, etc. I used Torpedo very defensively. I was trying to beat her today. I was wrong. that's fine. I'm still alive in the pick 5, but look, this pick 5 is not paying anything. So, I'm not too excited about it. And to be honest, I played a very small pick 4, Ryan, and I tossed Torpedo because I didn't feel like, now you can press up, right? I could have played a press up pick 4. So it's going to pay $30. I'm going to try to press up 10. I mean, I don't know. I was sort of wrong and sort of right? I mean, Torpedo did not run her race, but she still won anyway. So, okay, whatever. I'm alive with 2 horses in my pick 5 right now, only 2. And that is this horse right here, Timeout and Unmatched Wisdom. Let's talk about Timeout first. I've been chasing this horse for quite a while, Ryan. I liked his win when he won in a mile and A3 back. The Curlin was a little disappointing to me, but it favored speed, and Unmatched Wisdom was just too much. The last race, I singled her in the pick 5, and I got to tell you, he was a little bit disappointing. But again, the speed held together. So in this race, I don't think this is a speed favoring track today. I don't know if you can come from like way back, but I don't think Timeout's going to come from way back. I know he wants the distance, and I think there is, like I said, a bunch of speed in this race, and I'm getting Mott and Rosario at 9-1. I think Timeout is very interesting, and clearly he's not facing, killers in this race, with all due respect to the others. Unmatched Wisdom. I said on the show on Thursday, Ryan, I think this is the most talented horse in this race. Now, does that mean he's going to win today? Clearly not. But what he did in his first 3 starts, I thought was absolutely tremendous. He was winning for fun. The Travers, he didn't break great. He didn't get the trip he wanted. He was facing complete monsters, obviously. I just don't think it worked out. I don't love horses necessarily coming out of the Travers, but we just saw Torpedo Anna win. I just think Flavian's going to break aggressively, going to sit 3rd or 4th and get a very, very good trip. And I think if he gets the trip that I think he's getting, I think he's going to be tough in this spot. I just don't think, Ryan, and as I bring it back on screen here, I don't think Chad would put Unmatched Wisdom in this spot if he didn't think he was ready. I mean, he could have rested him up for some races later in the year, or, face older. There's a lot of things he could have done. The fact that he's here and Sierra Leone, for example, is not here tells me this is the spot for Unmatched Wisdom. I don't like 5-2. I'm not going to put a win bet on him, but I think he's very logical here.
I don't disagree with you. Definitely logical. Definitely a ton of talent. I'm also alive in the pick 5 here, but I tossed Unmatched Wisdom. I tossed Seize the Gray. I'm alive to Timeout, Protective, and Dragoon Guard. Dragoon Guard, interesting because not the best horse on the race, but I knew we weren't going to get the morning line favorite come post time. And I'm not sure what he is in the Will Pays. I believe he's second choice. I can try and pull that up here. But I thought Dragoon Guard was interesting enough. I think if he's tripled up buyers. So I don't know that he has much more in the tank, and he's got pretty easy leads in all of those. No, glaring signs that I love, but I've liked this horse since the start. I love the Arrogates. Runs well, has a great stride to him. So I didn't want him to beat me. So I used Dragoon Guard, but Seize the Gray and Unmatched Wisdom. Unmatched Wisdom purely based on I thought he was going to go off the favorite, if not the close second choice. And with Torpedo and Ben Tornado in the sequence, I just didn't want to use a third favorite. So tried to toss those horses just based on that. But back to Unmatched Wisdom, who's one of your top picks here. Definitely a talented horse. Love this horse going into the Travers as well. And you mentioned Unmatched Wisdom lands here, not Sierra Leone. Sierra trains up to the Breeders' Cup Classic, I assume. Unmatched Wisdom was ready and fit to go here. So that's certainly a good sign to look up to. And Marco nailed it.
I've been a little bit slow with people in the chat, but I'm doing 5,000 things right now. So sorry, everyone in the chat. Please keep commenting in the chat. I'll try to bring up as many possible. Marco Lou believes that Unmatched Wisdom is going to get a great trip. I agree with him. Right on the wires, the closes are dead in this one, given the way the track is playing. Here's the thing, though, Ryan. When you look at the horses that have won today, it's not as if the horses that have won on a lead of like 50-1. So speaking of the track, Parks, and counting on people, we had Paul in the paddock, but now I don't see Paul in the paddock. All right, we'll see.
While we try and
there we go,
get him back. Oh,
Paul,
there we go. Okay.
Paul, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and you're ready to come on, Paul. All right, Paul Halloran is here. Let's go full screen here. Paul, what do you see right now at Parx? He's live in the paddock, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Howard, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Got Charlie's Wish Home, named by Charlie Freeman, of course, at Gulfstream. Well, tell me what's going on at the Penn Derby paddock.
I just got here. Just got done with my Cotillion duties, and
Okay.
I just got here, and it looks like I'm just in time to see them go out to the track. So I'm not going to be able to.
Well,
I'm
I'll
not
tell you
gonna be
what. Give me a 1 minute snapshot on your thoughts of the Cotillion, Paul.
I thought it was a very, very good horse winning. In baseball, Howard, as a coach, we used to tell pitchers you have to win on days you don't have your best stuff. I thought it was a tough trip. Johnny V did some great race riding. Brian was stuck on inside a lot longer than he wanted to be. And, when he got out, Mark Hennig's horse proved to be a really tough customer. So, as I say, I think it was a case of her winning on her talent, and I would say should be much better next time.
I told Ryan here on the show, I thought it was absolutely perfect for the connections, Paul, because she ran. I'll give myself a little credit. We talked about she definitely didn't run her A. I mean, she ran a
No.
B- race at best, I would say, but they still won $1 million, and they didn't have to empty the tank. I think she's going to be a complete monster in the Breeders' Cup, Paul. I really do.
Yeah, I think the 6 weeks from now to the Breeders' Cup are going to be really good for her.
Yes.
I don't know if Kenny's going to take her back to Saratoga. She seems to like it up there, or if he'll take her to Kentucky before he ships out west. But I do think that she will definitely enjoy the time off. And I agree with you. I think she'll be better next time.
Paul, you went 11-8-2 in the Pennsylvania Derby on the show. We just talked about Stronghold because Ryan knows the horse well from the West Coast. Have you seen anything in the paddock or any vibe that tells you to change your mind?
No, the people don't. The people disagree with us, Ryan. 6-1 on Stronghold from a 5-2 morning line, but again, that's a byproduct of the morning line on Unmatched Wisdom being so far off at 8-1. Okay, so it's really hard to judge anything against it because that horse should have been probably 4-1 tops, and she's sitting here at 5-2. But how about the My Racehorse money, Howard? 5-2 on Seas to Go. This is just unbelievable.
Well, now, I'd be remiss, Paul. I wouldn't be doing my job journalistically if you didn't share with the public and our great fans and viewers, which we have hundreds of them, who we see right now.
That was
Who
the
was
coach
that?
Coach D. Wayne Lucas.
Oh, that was D. Wayne. Sorry. You had a little encounter with D. Wayne earlier. Tell everyone what he told you. Was it this morning, I believe?
No, I was actually in the hotel
Yesterday.
lobby. I was in the hotel lobby yesterday, waiting to do an interview, and there he was. Just showed up, and of course I went right over to say hello, and asked. And every trainer obviously likes how the horse is training, but I told him I thought his horse was going right to the lead because I do, and his reply was, well, if he does, he's going to be very tough to beat. So we'll see how that plays out.
Ooh. Well, here's the problem, though, Paul. I know I'm not going to show all the PPs. Isn't there quite a bit of speed, at least signed down? I mean, Lonesome Boy, who's 1,000-1 and shouldn't be in the race, is going to show speed. You've got Step On It, another horse that has no chance at all, but is going to show speed. So, look, if they're 100-1, they're going to be sent, right? Dragoon Guard knows only one way, at least lately. And then you've got a horse like Stronghold who will probably sit, but not that much. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that Seize the Great's just going to walk on the lead or get some kind of slow pace. I don't see it here.
No, I do agree with you. I think he's going to have to work to get it, which is why I don't like him in the race.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the race for me is based on, I don't like Dragoon Guard at all. And it's based on Dragoon Guard not finishing in the top two. So.
Yeah, I don't have any pushback. Ryan, any questions or thoughts for Paul while we got him on here?
Yeah, how did timeout look coming out onto the track?
You know what, Ryan? I got to the paddock just as they were leaving, so I can't even fudge that guess. I'm looking at them on the track now, but it's on the screen. Bill Mott's about 50 feet away. I guess I could ask him, but that would prompt an uninteresting reply, so I won't.
No.
No need.
But
Paul, Paul, if this thing heats up, am I absolutely crazy to think that a horse like Uncle Heavy can actually clunk up and hit the board at third or fourth here?
No, Howard, I don't think you're crazy, and I think is that what 25 to 1? Is that right?
Yeah, 30 to 1.
Oh, so maybe we'll have to do a little RTK.
Yes, that Ryan. Just so you know, that would be a reverse try key.
Yeah,
Actually, my reverse
I
try.
think I'm gonna do that, Howard, now just for
My
just for
reverse
fun.
try key horse, by the way, Paul, is timeout. I feel more confident with timeout. I don't know if he can win, but I think he's going to be a major
Yeah,
factor.
well,
And in fact, as we're talking right now, I'm typing in a reverse try key with timeout. Go ahead, Paul or Ryan. Give me 30 seconds. Go ahead, guys. You guys chat.
well, I was gonna say, Uncle Heavy interests me 3 times as much as reverse timeout. The odds. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I will
Uncle
tell you
Heavy.
what, though, Howard. To your point, 8 to 1 on timeout. That's legitimate money. Down from a 10 to 1 morning line. This is a horse who's only won 1 race, eligible for non-winners or one other than. And Bill Mott, who doesn't place his horse recklessly, has him in a grade 1. So you could be onto something there.
Ryan, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I also picked timeout on top. Was just I like the placing. Bill Mott, he had no real reason to place this horse based on past performances into a grade 1, so it had to be something he saw off the paper, which is something that I'm going to go ahead and trust the horseman Bill Mott in doing correctly, as he's done for so long. So yeah, I like timeout. I think protective 13-1 on Irad, Pletcher, Rapoli going long on dirt. That's just too big of a price. Just on those stats alone, that's too big for me. Seize the Gray was a toss just because I think Dragoon Guard is going to be more intent on the lead. I don't know that Dragoon Guard can get the distance versus this class test. I think Unmatched Wisdom definitely is going to sit the best trip, or at least is projected to. But
Hey,
in my
Ryan,
pick 5,
They're at the gate, Howard. I'm going to check
They're
out.
at the gate. Paul, good luck. Thanks, man.
Good luck.
Thanks, Paul. We'll talk to you after the race if you can. All right. They are going into the gate right now. The odds have changed, actually. Wow. Unmatched Wisdom is the favorite right now at 5-2. Dragoon Guard and Seize the Gray, both 3-1. Whoever you like in the chat, put it in the chat right now. Who is going to win the Pennsylvania Derby? I am going 8-4. I can't remember who I had in third. I think I had 8-4-11 if I recall. I'm
going to go 4-8-11.
Wow.
Or, what did I text you? I think no. Sorry. 4-8-5. 4-8-5.
Okay, Ryan's going 4-8-5. I'm going 8-4-11. It should be an honest pace. It is the grade 1 $1 million Pennsylvania Derby. Let's see if anyone put any comments in the chats who's going to win. There we go. Right the wire, 8-2-6-11. We have a few more to enter the gate. Very exciting. Let's get home. For me, timeout or Unmatched Wisdom, actually, for both of us, or Stronghold. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
If timeout gets home, we're both alive into the last.
You know, Caesar Gray is going to win by 3 now, right?
Yep, completely aware. Absolutely.
And all of my racehorse fans are going to run on the track and
gonna jog to 48 to the half somehow.
I don't think so.
Win for fun.
Here we go.
I hope not.
The Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby on the HHH Racing Podcast. And they're off. Unmatched Wisdom breaks fine. So does the 6. Seize the Gray is being sent aggressively. Dragoon Guard did not break great at all and is about in 5th. Right now, it is the number 6.
Just step on
it. But he lets Seize the Gray go. Here we go. Seize the Gray does have the lead and does not look like they're really going that fast. It's Seize the Gray and the 2 bombs right behind them, Lonesome Boy and Just Step on It. The number 8 Unmatched Wisdom has the most ridiculous hold I've ever seen on the outside, but he is 3 wide, but is comfortable. Stronghold in 5th, Ryan, also getting a good trip. Early, quick thoughts, Ryan.
Stronghold getting a great trip. Why is nobody pressing Seize the Gray here? Unmatched Wisdom 3 wide. Dragoon Guard didn't break sharp, but he's not sitting a bad trip right now. Down against the rail.
Timeout is on the inside following Dragoon Guard. It's 49-1. Are you freaking kidding me? Wow. Seize the Gray is getting with absolute murder. They're 4 across the track in second. Unmatched Wisdom is about to make his move and try to do something. Timeout's in a sort of a tricky spot. It is
Oh,
Seize
boy.
the Gray, an unmatched wisdom. I don't think they're going to get Seize the Gray. I'm just going to call it
No,
right now.
I don't think
Seize
so
the
either.
Gray, unmatched wisdom in second. Here comes Stronghold on the outside, and Uncle Heavy is
Uncle
actually making
Heavy
a move.
making
Here
a move.
comes Stronghold for California. Unmatched Wisdom is in behind.
Dragoon Guard got the
Stronghold
rail.
takes the lead, but Seize the Gray is fighting back on the inside. Uncle Heavy is there with Dragoon Guard. Seize
the Gray.
Gray for my racehorse is going to win the Pennsylvania Derby. The number 11 Stronghold in second. I said Seize the Gray is going to win by 3 or 4, and I said they're not going to catch him.
Unbelievable.
What
you
the
go
hell,
49
Ryan?
and then 113.8. Oh my goodness. How does that happen?
151 and 4. Not exactly blazing final time. Dragoon Guard did not break rate. That didn't help. And the bomb just let the two go. I understand that. I got to tell you what. I love Flavian. I don't understand. They're going. Why does he go up there and press? Although he wasn't good enough anyway, though. So I was wrong there. He just wasn't that good. Stronghold did what Stronghold does, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, he ranged up like a champ and just folded.
Folded.
49-1 is just. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
I don't even know what to say.
When we saw that, we both knew. Well, and then you go
on the turn. I'll tell you what, Stronghold. I'm watching the replay. Stronghold took the lead. Stronghold had about a neck lead and just completely gave it up. I mean, or just Seize the Gray fought back, whatever. Unmatched Wisdom was bad. I have nothing to. He's just bad. Dragoon Guard didn't break great. He actually ran okay.
He ran all right.
Uncle Heavy actually got fourth. I sort of thought that might happen.
Nothing
timeout was nowhere to be found.
Good for Jamie Torres. That's 2 grade ones on the year.
Good for Seize the Gray. Good for all the My Racehorse people.
And the coach.
Good for the coach. I mean, I shouldn't be so negative. It's just.
I mean,
I just.
How do we let that happen?
Siggy 4-1 on Seize the Gray. I think that's about right. I mean, this horse had done nothing his last 2 starts.
Yeah.
And they were ready to retire this horse. I guess he's tough when he's on the lead. So what the F was he doing in his 2 previous races? Trying to wait.
Yeah. What were they trying to do? It was like the
there?
door knock experience all over again. Or experiment.
I think Terry actually is a My Racehorse owner. So I think he's got a very, whatever.
Congrats to Terry then.
Congrats, Terry, on his, $5 score there. I'm just kidding, Terry. I'm happy for you, Terry. I'm happy for all those guys. It's awesome. David Barisa says hopefully the try pays. Would it come? It's not going to pay. Well,
2-11-7.
I mean, you got the 8 out of there.
You got 4-1, 5-1, 7-2.
It's going to be okay.
It'll be all right.
It's going to be okay. Right at the wire is exactly right. Unmatched Wisdom, which is bad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the hold he had though on the backstretch was
nuts.
Insane. I wish Flavian would have gone after Seize the Gray more. Look, it didn't set up for timeout, Ryan, at all.
No, not at all.
I'll have to watch the break. Chris sums it up for me. It's crazy how many races where we see everyone grabs. I
don't get it.
You know what, Ryan? If you're 100-1 shot and you're in the race, what are you doing rating?
Send them.
Like, just go.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know what though? We do need to give credit to Seize the Gray because
for sure.
I mean, I thought the source was sort of done, to be honest, but D. Wayne again, the horse goes to the lead, and I just didn't see this race being won by someone on the lead. I mean,
I didn't either. Not with all the pace that was signed on. Just goes to show you got to run the race. Everything on paper only means so much. But props to Jamie Torres for being the one jockey in this race whose horse had pace and actually rode the race correctly, and he got rewarded for it. So good for him. Good for the coach. Good for all the 2,000 whatever My Racehorse connections. They'll get their $3.50 as a part of this grade 1 win. Joking. But no, I mean, the 3 and the 6 we thought were just going to send purely based on being long shots, and who knows why there was a Washington bred in the race that didn't send hard at all. I mean, I don't really understand it, but
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a little better because I just, all my bets just went to shit there. But hey, that's okay. That's the way it goes sometimes.
yeah,
I didn't exactly empty the bank account today. I was just playing around a little bit. But look, I didn't love Torpedo and was trying to beat her. I used her. I didn't like Seize the Gray. I don't really know what to say in this race. I didn't see it setting up. And, Ryan, this is really good. And I'd love to hear people in the chat. Please comment in the chat. Seize the Gray going to the Classic? I mean, I don't know where they're going to go
I
with
imagine
them.
so.
I'd love to hear two things from people in the comment. What's your thought on this race in general, number one? And number two, you're in the chat. Where do you go with Seize the Gray? Do you go to the Breeders' Cup? Do you go to the Breeders' Cup Mile? Do you try the Classic? Do you not go at all? What do you do with Seize the Gray? I'd love to hear people's opinion in the chat on your thoughts on this horse. The final time was, what did I say, 150? Was it 152 or 151?
151.5, I think.
I think it was 8.88, so 0.4. I mean, that's going to be 96, 97-ish.
Yeah.
Buyer. I'm just completely guessing. Razor Picks has, that's who he likes in the race 14.
Oh.
He's going 2:6:10. The final time was 151.89. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Look, we're not going to show the last race, Ryan. We're going to wrap up as we've been here closer to 2 hours. You've been on longer than I expected. So thanks for sticking on this long. Sorry to do that to you. Where do you go with Seize the Gray?
Dirt Mile, or you skip and you wait for something else. He's not a classic horse. No. He doesn't. I don't think he wants to go that far, and he's certainly not going to get that lead in the classic. Honestly, I think the smartest move is just probably. I don't think with my racehorse, I don't think they're going to race him into 4 no matter what. I'd almost say that was it. That you got to end on top. That's a good grade 1 win. It's the Pennsylvania Derby. It was a good field. Like, if you're gonna, I don't think he has a shot in the classic. I don't know about the Dirt Mile. I'd say either wait for another spot or I don't know. I know he already has a stud deal in place, which is the only reason I say just go ahead and wrap it. But talented horse, I just think he needs things his way.
Yeah. Well, the Tri paid 122 for
it's pretty good
for $1.
It's pretty
not
good.
Bad. I'll tell you what, the first 4 or 5 steps out of the gate, I didn't think Seize the Gray was winning. It looked like they were going.
Yeah.
You heard me say it even before the half mile time came up. I mean, that was the only way this horse had to win. And Terry, we're so sort of joking. He says, I sense a anti my racehorse bias. What I don't like, Terry, and look, people can do whatever the F they want with their money. And it's for people that want to go to the track and they're showing the winner's circle. It's ridiculous how many people are there. I mean, all that is awesome. Look, I've been an owner. I've been in the winner's circle. It's really cool. I just think you're getting ripped off in general. I mean, what they pay out, it does not equate to what these horses are winning. So if they're trying to say you're going to win all this money, that's just a complete joke. That's what I don't like about it. But the experience and all that, is cool. Ryan, final thoughts on what I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I share in your thoughts on my racehorse on that, to that.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with the people or people can do whatever they want. I mean, it's just, they're selling. They're not quite giving what they're selling, I guess is my main point. Ryan, we're going to wrap it up here as we almost went 2 hours. Really appreciate it. You can blame it on Parx, man. Don't blame it on me.
I don't blame it on
any final thoughts on what we saw at Gulfstream? Soul of an Angel, maybe going to the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint, and Seize the Gray and Torpedo win the big races at Parx.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see Torpedo win. Big fan of that filly. Excited to see her in the distaff now coming up next. PA Derby, it was a competitive field on paper, and it proved to be, even if it was a horse that got it all his own way, it was we've seen it before, and who knows if we'll see it again. But props to Jamie Torres and all the connections. And then, Gulfstream, great racing as always. Happy you got Charlie's Wish home. That's a top pick. And
at least one.
Yeah, that was a fun. I think we ended up covering 6 races with the extra at Parx that we got in because of their time being off. But
Okay.
yeah,
I just
that was
want
an
to.
awesome 6 races.
I'm sorry, Terry's a good friend of mine on the show, so I just want to give Terry his props, who's a My Racehorse owner. He said they never say anything about winning big money, so I'm wrong about that. I know for a fact they should be giving away more money than they're giving, though,
Mhm.
based on the purses, Terry. I don't think they're doing you guys justice. But obviously I believe you, Terry, when you say they didn't promise anything. So I apologize for misspeaking on that. David Barista, thanks, Uncle Howard. That's sort of I'm an uncle, just as a joke here to a lot of guys on the show. Ryan, really appreciate it, man. We appreciate everyone. Hundreds of people again watching. Ryan, tell everyone about Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, real quick, and then we'll close the show.
Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 on the Best Coast. Me and Noah, we're hitting our debut show. We're going over the California Crown. I think $2.8 million worth of purses. It's going to be an excellent weekend. I have a pick that I already love. My favorite of the meet so far coming down the hill. I'll leave it at that. I'll give the rest out on Wednesday. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great first show. 6 p.m. West Coast time and 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, Noah Maher, Ryan Anderson, Pacific Horse Players. For my good friend and co-host, Ryan Anderson, this is your host, Howard Kravitz, episode 373 of Picks and Ponies, live coverage of Parx and Gulfstream. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Crush your bets. Hey, why not? Play Sunday. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.